It must be something in the male DNA gene.
All right. All right. For Judging Judy. All right.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Judging Judy, the podcast where it's our duty to judge Judge Judy. You know, I'm recording this a little before Canadian Thanksgiving, and though it will be released a few weeks after Canadian Thanksgiving, I wanted to take a moment to play a brief selection from everyone's favorite Canadian Thanksgiving anthem, Informer by Snow. Really, really beautiful. But enough rambling, let's do what we do best and talk Judge Judy. Today's episode is from all the way back on September 20th, 2019. Still getting over the sleepiness from all that poutine and turkey and finding it hard to remember what was happening back then? Let's ask Professor Wikipedia for some help reminding us. The Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us Facebook event, which received over 2 million RSVPs, saw fewer than 200 attendees. The event was meant to encourage Facebook users to band together and raid the site in search for extraterrestrial life that conspiracy theory lore claims may be concealed inside. If this is your first time hearing about this event, you may not be a chump. Under pressure from owner Hasbro, the next Brussels edition of the Monopoly board game censored Mannequin Piss, the 17th century bronze statue of a naked boy urinating, by using swimming trunks over his nude body. What would it take to replace the Waterworks place on the regular Monopoly board with the Mannequin Piss instead? A woman who previously accused late United States financier Jeffrey Epstein of sexually abusing her when she was a teenager says she was trafficked to Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom and was abused by him at a house in London. She calls him an abuser and a participant. Prince Andrew denies the allegations. As of this date, neither Prince Andrew or the similarly accused failed casino owner Donald Trump have been brought to trial for their involvement with Epstein. Hey, thanks for that help, Professor Wikipedia. Your doctorate might be in Tony Hawk studies, but you're not so bad after all. Now let's see what the tides looked like on that day back in 2019 in Catfish Point, Louisiana. We had a high tide of 1.42 feet at 12:26 a.m., followed by a low tide of 1.14 feet at 4:56 a.m., followed by a high tide of 1.31 feet at 8:22 a.m., followed by a low tide of 0.67 feet at 4:13 p.m. Now, this is a little bit of a special kind of bonus material because it was only supposed to be the tides, but I wanted to share that Catfish Point has one review on Google Maps. It's actually from 6 years ago, so, maybe right around when this episode aired. It's by someone named Ryan Dunn. He wanted to share that Catfish Point is, quote, a good place to catch fish. Great. Finally, let's check in on the box office for September 20th, 2019. Number 3 was Ad Astra, number 2 was Rambo: Last Blood, and number 1 was Downton Abbey. Rambo: Last Blood was co-written and, of course, starred Sylvester Stallone. Recently announced Special Ambassador to Hollywood, Sylvester Stallone. Care of Wikipedia. In Rambo: Last Blood, we see Rambo traveling to Mexico to save his adopted niece, who has been kidnapped by a Mexican cartel and forced into prostitution. Here are a few cherry-picked quotes from reviews of our Special Ambassador's very special movie. Quote, massively enlarged prostate of a film that can only make you wince with its badly acted geronto-ultra violence, its Trumpian fantasies of Mexican rapists and hilariously insecure US border, and its crass enthusiasm for rape revenge attacks. Quote, I felt degraded and dehumanized after I left the theater. Instead of being soulful, this new movie lacks one. I felt I was less a human being for having seen it, and today, that's an unfortunate message. Quote, it's so genuinely horrific. I'm convinced there are real-life cartel videos celebrating the torture of rivals that are less gory. And that, America, is our Special Ambassador to Hollywood. Okay, let's hop into the teaser for this week's episode.
We closed on the house in January.
And no, I don't think he's speaking French.
All right, man. Oui.
And her annoyed ex just can't stop.
I believe announcer Jerry Bishop, R.I.P., meant to say annoying, not annoyed.
Oui.
What part of don't speak unless I'm speaking to you didn't you understand? No, I'm done with you.
That's what I yell when someone asks me if I want seconds of their homemade mashed potatoes.
You could have been tied to him forever.
Hey, don't kink shame, Judy. Okay, let's get to the case. Ashley is suing her ex-boyfriend Robert for money owed on the deposit for a home. I suppose if you don't achieve the American dream of homeownership, you can always fall back on the American nightmare, appearing on Judge Judy. But that's not all she's suing for. I'm going to play back the whole thing here, everything Jerry Bishop said, because I want you to experience the same shock that I did. You think at first that it's just a case about a deposit. You think Jerry Bishop, R.I.P., is done, and then...
Ashley Williams is suing her ex-boyfriend, Robert Reynolds Jr., for money owed for a deposit on a home, a headstone for the child she miscarried, an assault, and harassment.
A headstone for your miscarried baby. You had to bring this to daytime TV? On Channel 6. On Channel 6, we've got Steve Harvey on Celebrity Family Feud, asking Elvira for the top things not to say to your proctologist during an exam.
Survey says vampire.
On Channel 4, we've got Rachel Ray cooking Italian wedding soup with Ralph Macchio.
You're the best friend I ever had.
But if you want to hear about the unpaid headstone for the miscarried baby, you've got to turn the dial to Channel 5 and Judge Judy. And that's to say nothing of the assault and the harassment. So if it's not too late, let's add a trigger warning to this episode. Ashley and Robert had been in a relationship for a while, living in Ashley's home. At some point, Robert decided to buy a house. Thanks to a VA-provided mortgage, they didn't need to put down a traditional down payment. They only needed to provide $1,000, an amount Ashley paid, at which point they both moved into the house.
We closed on the house in January
Of this year.
2019.
You ever see a kid at an amusement park waiting in line for a $16 ice cream cone the size of a ping pong ball, and they're standing there twisting at the torso, presumably trying to see if they can manage to detach their bottom half from their top half? That's what Robert's doing when he interjects here. Well, except there's no ice cream, no amusement park, and Robert's not a child.
No ice cream? I wouldn't put up with that if I were you.
Shh. Judy, don't just shush him. Tell him that if he doesn't stop spinning like that, he has to go and live with his dad and his dad's new girlfriend, Sandy, who thinks that everything tastes a little bit better with some flat ginger ale drizzled on top. Judy asks Ashley to detail what was involved in the closing process for the house. But before she can provide an answer, Robert tries to interject, presumably because he has to pee but doesn't know how to unbutton his pants.
What part of don't speak unless I'm speaking to you didn't you understand?
I'm beginning to think every single part of it. Although, to be fair to Robert, Judy didn't actually say any of that to him. She just shushed him. I know that her shush carries a lot of weight. It's like the leaf cutter ant of noises. But you can't expect Robert to understand all that subtext. After all, he's not even tall enough to ride the carousel, even if he stands on his tippy toes.
Well, that's not fair.
Robert assures Judy that now he understands. He does it by way of an annoying set of mind thumbs up and nods and... I just wish he would act like a big boy like he promised.
Sounds like you're not going to do it. That's fine.
Ashley says that she and Robert had lived together in her apartment for about 6 months, a statement that seems to shock Robert. Either that or his no bark collar is on the fritz.
I'm Mr. Reynolds. Is that correct that you...
No, ma'am, it is. No, ma'am, no, it's not
Just say no.
Yes, ma'am.
How many months did you live
Approximately
with...
1 year.
I get that a year is longer than 6 months. Roughly twice as long if my abacus is correct. But by the way Robert had reacted, I thought he was going to say that they'd been living together for 15 or 30 years. I thought he was going to say that the supposed apartment that they lived in together, it was actually a womb that they'd both been sharing for the entirety of their lives up until they moved into the new house.
Ooh, with a lot more space.
But okay, a year, not 6 months. Judy's already so sick of Robert and his antics that him uttering too many syllables, saying approximately 1 year, pisses her off. Wow. She huffs and she puffs, and he has to start in again on his miming routine. For some reason, she tries again. She asks the same question, even though she's super exasperated.
I'm sorry.
How many months did you live with Miss Williams in her apartment prior to moving into the house?
Approximately March to December when I closed on the home in January.
12. Just say 12. There are 12 months in a year, and you said approximately a year, and so it's 12. 12. Say it. 12. It's how old you've got to be to trick or treat alone. So in your case, you still have to wait another 6 years until you can go out and get your good and plenties without your mom hassling you the whole time.
That's enough, Mom.
I'm going to ask you again.
You know what? I've actually flipped on this one. I want Robert to egg her on. Tell her in minutes. Tell her in seconds. Tell her in parsecs, light years, furlongs, Edward furlongs. Say anything other than 12. Don't give her what she wants. She'll only want more.
Approximately 10 months.
Now, Robert, you seem like an awful person, but you did as I asked, and for that, This Canadian Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for you, Robert. In addition to collecting benefits as a disabled veteran, Robert, well, he makes Judy regret asking him what he does for work.
I've been a banquet server, bartender, and a houseman in Atlanta, Georgia since 1999. I worked several venues all throughout the city. I work as a temp agency. They send me off. That's where I met her on the job.
Now, to anyone who's never been to the Steamy Peach, Atlanta, Georgia, I want to assure you that not everyone there is like Robert. My advice to you is to visit, I don't know, maybe one of the many thousands of streets with the word Peachtree in it, or to drop in at the Buford Farmers Market, maybe visit Piedmont Park. You'll have a wonderful time in Atlanta. Just look out for an adult man swinging his torso around. He might be bartending or serving or...
Apologize, Mr.
I'm really
Joseph.
not interested.
Judy asks how much Robert paid in rent while he and Ashley lived together.
Approximately.
Not approximately. Rent is never approximate. Rent is always an exact figure.
$525,600. $100.
You paid $100
Yes,
a
ma'am.
month.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was the total rent?
I think it's like $400, something like that.
Judy wheeze laughs. I know, show don't tell. But if I put the clip in here, it will just sound like someone opening an ancient treasure chest.
All I want to know is, how much was the rent? If you don't know, say I don't know. You're allowed to say I don't know.
I don't believe this for a second. Not for a second. If Robert had said he didn't know how much the rent was, Judy would have gone off about how he's not acting like an adult, and how adults should know how much the rent is. Mind you, both of those things are true. He's a giant child, but we can't let Judy pretend that she treated him any differently, any better, if he admitted to not knowing instead of pretending he did know. She just have a different reason to dislike him.
There are a lot of them.
HUD Bash required her to pay $200 to $400 per month.
I think Robert said that Ashley's dad required her to pay $240 a month. I'm hoping we can just settle on that amount and move on. Although, if we do, I'm not sure how interested I am in getting to the whole headstone and assault and harassment parts of this case. At this point, Judy tells some strange joke. It's meant to illustrate how Robert is like her husband, about how her husband can recite the whole DNA code but still doesn't say the words "I don't know," even after 40 years of marriage. I don't think Robert is a problem in this case, and I don't think Judy's husband is a problem. I think the one thing we have uniting both of them is Judy. Judy is the problem. Robert, in an effort to steal the spotlight back from Judy, accidentally reveals himself as Judy's lifelong stalker.
I've watched you all your life. I've watched
That's
you.
right.
I've watched you.
Even in a fake courtroom, that's not something you want to admit.
It must be something in the male DNA gene. They'll make up a number, they'll make up a figure, they'll make up a... But they can't use those three words. Somehow it's emasculating when you say, I don't know.
Judy's sounding less like a TV judge and more like a Secretary of Health and Human Services. Judy, how about we leave the gaveling to you and the DNA coding to your husband, okay?
Told you, genes are funny things.
How many miles is it from here to Pluto? 4,968 approximately. I don't know. 4,968.
5,600.
Yep, she's still going. What can I say? Women are from Mars, men are from Pluto, am I right? At last, Judy does what she should have done to begin with and just asks Ashley how much she paid in rent.
$240.
And did he give you $100 a month?
Yes.
So nothing Robert said was actually wrong. He just said it stupidly.
Unfortunately, you don't get the $1,000 back.
Why not?
Judy says that because there was no contract, Ashley isn't entitled to the $1,000. However, Ashley replies that she had emailed Robert well before their breakup and her move out, indicating specifically that it was a loan and that it was meant to be paid back. Robert raises one finger to speak, eliciting this rebuke.
I didn't ask you anything.
Yes, ma'am. Can I please interject something, Judge Judy?
No.
Oh, if he had only said pretty please and, well, if he had maybe offered a cherry on top, then maybe Judy would have let him. Ashley didn't print out the email, so she has to have Bailiff Bird bring Judy her phone. And I think that, well, one of the first things Ashley should do if she wins any money from this, she needs to get a new phone. The screen on the one she has, it doesn't just have cracks, it has veins, varicose veins.
Nah. That's in December. I let you borrow. You sent to him. I let you borrow $1,000. That's ridiculous. You have to have a contract. You have.
Judy is not satisfied by anything on Ashley's brutalized ZTE Axon 7. She wants to see a contract stating that Robert would pay Ashley back. Without that, the $1,000 isn't hers.
I mean, I read your case, and what I'm telling you is the only thing that has to be returned is an engagement ring.
Wow, spoiler alert. So what's the rest of the episode going to be about then? Are we just going to watch Robert do knock-knock jokes? Because if he says knock-knock, and I say who's there, and he says banana one more time, now we move on to the topic of headstones.
You claim that Mr. Reynolds is responsible for half the cost of a headstone because you decided to have a burial for the child that you lost.
The headstone put Ashley back $800. But aren't we just going to run into the same issue here? If Ashley doesn't have a contract with Robert stating that he'd pay for half, won't Judy say that he doesn't have to pay for the other half? The whole show could just be called Do You Have a Contract? At the time that Ashley miscarried, she and Robert were still living together. Judy wants Ashley to detail the conversation she had with Robert about the headstone because...
Okay.
Because not everybody memorializes a miscarriage like that with a headstone.
That's usually true, but in this case it's not.
Judy's not satisfied when Ashley says that Robert agreed. Judy wants to hear Ashley's version of the whole conversation they had. Now, I get what Judy's after here, but I don't know what Ashley can do that would actually satisfy the judge. I don't think Ashley has transcripts. I don't think she has a perfect memory or perfect recall. And I have a feeling that Robert offhandedly said something he didn't mean and never intended to follow through with about how he'd pay for half the cost of the headstone. And now because of that, because of his Robertness, Ashley's on the hook for the full tab.
That's what you say he said. I want you to tell me the whole conversation from the beginning to end.
Well, roughly 4,000 years ago, a guy named Adam and a lady named Eve happened to bump into each other during one of the free admission days at the Paradise Botanical Gardens.
He said, I will pay for the remaining cost because he is a dad. Yes, he will.
Robert says that this is most certainly not what he said, and Judy seems to agree. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why she agrees. I had a feeling he had no intention of paying. Like he has no intention of learning how to tie his shoes or putting an end to his thumb sucking. But I see no reason why he wouldn't have said he was going to. What has Robert said or done to make any of us believe that he wouldn't follow through on something he said and then lie about saying it afterward? Judy asks one more time for Ashley to detail exactly this conversation where Robert had agreed to pay. The what, the where, the when. I don't think she asked for why or how. We're just going to have to assume they didn't have this headstone conversation using carrier pigeons. Ashley starts with the where. She says the conversation happened at a courthouse.
So you needed to go to the courthouse to get a death certificate?
Yes,
some sort of a death certificate?
In case this case could not get any sadder or more uncomfortable, Ashley wasn't able to get a death certificate at the courthouse. She had to go back to the funeral home for it instead. Ashley says that Robert didn't accompany her to the courthouse, but did go to the funeral home. All the while that Ashley's describing this, the camera keeps cutting to Robert as he does it's kind of like the same face as the guy in the Warheads label. Just look it up. Robert's also doing this annoying thing where he leans over, of course, exaggeratedly, at the waist and stares at Ashley. I guess it's just more annoying theatrics, but it feels a little like intimidation. I understand it's hard to stand up straight when you've got so much poo-poo in your pull-ups, but Robert, you really gotta give it a try.
Forget it. You babies are hopeless.
Ashley says that she paid $400 for a burial, and then later $800 for the headstone.
So he didn't pay for half the burial. What made you think he was going to pay for half the stone?
We go to a commercial break before hearing the inevitably disappointing answer to that question. We also get a preview for case number 2.
You see the defendant
Yes.
with her little girl.
Yes.
The little girl was crying.
Yes.
I'd venture to say this kid's 7, maybe 8 years old, which is to say she's far too mature to find anything Robert's done thus far in case 1 either funny or morally defensible. We get a bit of a surprise reveal coming back from the break.
Robert is countersuing for unpaid rent.
If this nincompoop wins anything, well, I guess I don't have any recourse since the case happened 6 years ago and it's kind of a fake TV case. Actually, you know what? I do have recourse. If he wins, I take back anything nice I've ever said about Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia is at risk of going on my personal bad things list, alongside potatoes, rah-rah riot, and people who suck their teeth. You know what I mean. But okay, back to the topic of the headstone.
I was just assuming that he would just go half with me.
Well, that's not something that you do in court, Miss
Okay.
Williams.
Yes, sorry.
Do you understand?
Okay.
You probably should have been really, really, really sure here, Ashley, but the fact is, you assumed a decent thing about an indecent person.
What's that supposed to mean?
So you seem like really a very, very nice lady.
The very words nearly bring Robert to his knees. Wait, is that a possibility? Look, Judy, I get that you can't just give Ashley money without a contract and all that, blah, 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 blah. But can we allow her to take a tire iron to Robert's knees? Maybe just one knee. No, both knees. Is there anything about that in established case law?
And you were probably very lucky because I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Oh, she did have a miscarriage, Judy, so I don't know about the word choice lucky.
So a tragedy was averted.
Psst, Judy, miscarriage.
Yes.
You could have been tied to him forever.
That's nothing a tire iron to the knees wouldn't solve, Judy, and you're the lady to make it happen.
According to you, things got a little bad. He drinks?
Yes.
You think at first that this is just a line of questioning to get us to the topic of assault and harassment, and then Judy drops this burn.
I sort of know Mr. Reynolds drinks.
Cheers.
And I don't think she's talking about Yoo-hoo, because no one, not even Robert, drinks Yoo-hoo. It's gross. It's chocolate-flavored sewer water. This episode has been sponsored by Yoo-hoo. Judy, if you think he drinks, aka you think he's a drunk, why do you believe anything he says? Why has he earned any of the benefit of the doubt? Robert claims he does not drink too much, a question that can only truly be answered by his hobbled liver.
Drink a glass of red wine every once in a while for my digestion. My nerves are bad with this young lady.
Perhaps to go enjoy her own small glass of red wine for her nerves, Judy ignores Robert's desperate pleading and histrionics, ending the case and sparring Atlanta for my unmitigated ire. You are now safe to visit Coca-Cola World, the Fernbank Museum, and the Beltline. But if you happen to be in Atlanta, don't get Thai food. All the restaurants there, they're pretty gross. You gotta go to like Lawrenceville or Douglastown or something. None of the Thai in Atlanta is really good.
Goodbye!
Judge Judy, I have a case. Judge Judy, please.
Robert uses his parting words to further diminish any chance he might ever have of redeeming himself in anyone's eyes.
In the court and start lying about shit. There's no tombstone, okay? That is not my child. I'm certain, and I wanted the DNA.
Well, that settles it. You win.
So there was no winner, per se, in Case 1, but we did meet a real loser. Let's see if Case 2 has anything better to offer. Shalitha is suing Brandy for car repair bills, apparently caused when Brandy's daughter knocked over a parking sign. We get a close-up of Brandy's daughter, and I know I'm getting way ahead of myself on this one, but I think we got a moral conundrum for Judy here.
Quite a moral conundrum. Quite a moral conundrum.
Now, she loves to harp on personal responsibility, so you'd think that would work against Brandy if her daughter did what she's accused of doing. A responsible person is also responsible for their kids. But I don't know if Judy's willing to roast this kid's mom right in front of her. I wonder how Judy's gonna get out of this pickle. The kid, by the way, looks dull and toothy, like a character in the Beverly Hillbillies.
That's because I graduated the 6th grade, man. Only took 3 years.
Shalitha was at a Boys and Girls Club picking up her kids when she heard a loud boom, followed by someone honking.
When you say you heard a boom, you know if something hits your car. Did you feel something hit your car?
I have a system in my car.
What?
Judy, it's like a jukebox, but for your car. No. Judy, it's like a Victrola, but for your automobile. No, I get it. You're not following. Judy, it's like a sound doodad for your horse wagon.
I have a system in my car, and I listen to loud bass music.
Judy rolls her eyes and, if you can't even tell something hit your car because of your rap music, how can you possibly claim this innocent little child who has never even heard of Run DMC or NWA or whatever letters they put together in your hip-hop boobity-bop music? How can you blame her?
So I was just like...
Shalitha reiterates that she didn't know what happened, so she got out of her car. Shalitha says that she saw the defendant and the defendant's daughter at the back of her car, the kid crying hysterically. We get another commercial break, which is wild because there are only like 3 minutes left in this episode. But coming back from the break, we get a helpful voiceover.
Shalitha Page claims Brandy Jackson's daughter knocked over a parking sign, damaging her car.
We also get a picture of the sign itself. It's a heavy-duty no parking metal sign attached to a small pole that's been cemented into a bucket. Shalitha says that, along with seeing the defendant and her daughter near the back of her car, she saw the sign and pole leaning against her car. At this point, Judy summons the kid to the witness stand. Imagine, for 6 or 7 years of your life, you've been told conflicting stories. There are no such thing as monsters, but you should never talk to or trust strangers. And then you hear this.
Come up here. Okay. Come up here.
Not a chance, you witch. Sure, it's not a creepy white van, but I've got a feeling you don't have puppies or free candy up on that witness stand either. Judy's wolf in every fairy tale-like grin is doing nothing to assuage my fears that this kid is about to be eaten. I know what you did to that girl in the Red Hood's grandma and 2 of those 3 pigs, Judy. Judy asks the little appetizer what happened that day at the Boys and Girls Club.
I grabbed a hold of the pole and it fell over.
Note that little Sydney here may be young, but she's not too young to massage the truth. The pole fell over, just like the little pigs' houses fell over after being blown upon by the wolf. Judy sends the kid back to her seat next to her mom, sparing her any more torment, for the moment at least.
You're a very pretty little girl and very smart.
Those are 2 things right out of the Creepy Stranger playbook. Shalitha shares some pictures of the scratches made to her car from the spontaneous pole falling incident. They are relatively minor, nothing at all like what befell the houses made of both straw and sticks. And to be honest, Shalitha isn't asking for a whole lot. $452.37. Judy offers Brandy the opportunity to speak for herself, but she doesn't want her to dawdle. Brandy, your case is important and all, but Judy's got a standing appointment with Mr. Jack Daniels that she never cancels.
Let's make it brief because you're responsible for her damage, $452.
The judge, despite offering Brandy the floor, doesn't cede it. She compliments Brandy's kid, but says that, adorable or not, the kid grabbed the pole and Brandy is responsible for the kid's actions.
The plaintiff's car did not fly into the pole.
Be pretty gnarly if it did, though, right, brah? Can I call you brah? Or are you more comfortable to judge brah? It's all chill with me, brah. Judy goes on to explain, still talking over Brandy, that it doesn't matter that Shalitha was in a no parking, no drop-off zone. That the reason the car was damaged were Sydney's actions, and that Brandy ought to have better control over her kid.
Second argument in your defense was sue the city, not me. Sue this city.
Brandy finally gets to speak, albeit very, very, very briefly, but her argument that the sign was inadequately secured does nothing to soothe or shut Judge Judy up.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $452. We're finished.
Okay, so personal responsibility won out, and Judy was able to restrain herself by not lambasting the kid's mom right in front of her. It's almost like Judy took personal responsibility for herself. And in the process, Judy probably saved both Brandy and her kid Sydney hours and hours of therapy. So I guess that means when you hear that BetterHelp or Talkspace or Teladoc or whoever, whenever one of these companies goes bankrupt, it's all Judy's fault. If only she had yelled at the kid's mom, both of them would need countless hours of counseling and these poor, stupid startups would still be in business. How's that for personal responsibility, Judy? Shalitha, it should be said, smiled at the kid throughout her whole testimony. Shalitha's a mother herself, but neither of those 2 things stopped Shalitha from dragging Sydney through the mud with her last words.
Her daughter's reckless. I mean, she's a wild child.
Maybe Sydney will need that therapy after all. You're welcome, BetterHelp. Now it's time for me to do what I do best. It's time for me to judge Judge Judy. Innocent or guilty? Did she do her job or did she not do her job? Did she deliver justice? Man, Judy came really close to being innocent. She came real close. Look, okay, case 2, she got case 2 right. And besides her dismissive attitude towards Shalitha's sound system, Judy wasn't a complete monster. She behaved herself. She treated the kid with dignity and probably got a bump in the ratings by having little Sydney on, all without us actually having to listen to the annoying kid's voice for too long. So case 2, thumbs up. Case 1, now look, as painful as it is, Judy probably shouldn't have given anything to Ashley. That's hard for me to align myself with Judy on, but because I feel that Ashley does deserve compensation just for being with Robert. Never mind his broken promises and deadbeat attitude and whatever else. Ashley deserves $1,000 and more. But okay, fine. No contract, no obligation, whatever. I can side with that. I can also be super happy that Judy didn't give Robert a chance to actually present his case. Even if he deserves something, he still deserves nothing. So like I said, Judy was almost innocent. All these things go in her favor. Except that whole dumb DNA rant. The dumb thing about men saying, I don't know. It was too much. She countered bad play acting by Robert with more, worse bad play acting. No one thinks you're stupid enough, Judy, to believe in a, quote, male DNA gene. We know you know that's not how it works. You drop down to Robert's level, and trust me, it stinks down there. The whole charade was loud and annoying, and it lasted too long, and for those reasons, today, Judy's guilty. That, my friends, is the hangman sound. For those new to the show, each week we play a game of hangman. But it's hangman mistakes. No, not the bovine kind. This is a plant-based show. Instead, like each week, something is on the line. The stakes this week are free refills. If I win, if I guess the word correctly, free refills will still be a thing. In fact, I'll go double or nothing. If I win, every drink you order, anywhere, restaurant, roadside stand, diner, bar, orange juice, apple juice, beer, liquor, soda, whatever, drinks, places. If I win, every drink will be refilled an unlimited number of times for free. However, if I lose, all drinks will cost double and none will be refilled for free. Like I said, there are stakes. This is serious business. As always, I'm using hangmanwords.com, and this week, for the third week in a row, I'm using their geography word list. Mind you, it's defeated me 2 weeks in a row. Last week, the real humdinger, and as a reminder, I can make 6 incorrect guesses, 6 letters that aren't in the word until I lose. And as always, I want to stress that this doesn't work on an audio medium and that I don't care. Okay, so let's pull up hangmanwords.com. All right, it is 2 words. The first one is 5 letters. The second word is 4 letters. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe the second word is lake. So I'm going to guess L. There's no L. So now my little hangman has a head. I'm going to guess E, even though I know it's not lake. Nope, there's no E. So my hangman has a torso now. And to remind you, the ones that I've gotten wrong on the geography word list included a lake in the Kyrgyz Republic and the capital of Bangladesh. So sometimes they go pretty obscure. Let's go A, as in anonymous. Okay. So we have the last letter of both words is an A. So blank, 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 A, space, blank, 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 A. I think I forgot one of the blanks in the first one, but you get the idea. Let's go T, as in the drink. There's one T, blank, 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 T-A, space, blank, 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 A. Let's go N. Okay, we got a leg. So now I only have 3 incorrect guesses until I get this one wrong. Remember, free refills, double or nothing, are up for grabs with this one. I'm gonna guess S. There is an S. So blank, blank, S-T-A, blank, 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 A. What about C, as in caterpillar? Okay. Oh, okay, this one's easy. So C, blank, S-T-A, blank, blank, C-A. So I'm thinking it's Costa Rica. Hopefully I'm not too confident, and hopefully I'm not wrong, but I'm gonna guess R. All right, I'm gonna guess I. I'm gonna guess O. I got it, Costa Rica. This week I won. It was not something in Kyrgyzstan, and it wasn't the capital of Bangladesh. It was Costa Rica. So again, as a reminder, every drink you order anywhere, no matter the drink, no matter the place, it is now refilled. Unlimited refills. You're welcome. You're welcome, world. We only have time for one more thing, and that is an out-of-context quote from Judge Judy. And when mothers on welfare refuse to name the fathers of their children, so that the courts can recoup the public monies expended on behalf of their children, public welfare benefits should either be denied or deferred until these elusive fathers are tagged. Thanks so much for listening. Like, share, and fornicate, and please, whatever you do, don't try to go halfsies on a headstone.